Welcome back to Trailer Trash Flips. My name is Mac, and I buy things to sell on eBay and try to make a profit. And the reason that I have not put out any videos in, it may have been 2 months now, is simply because I have been extremely busy with work. My non-eBay business really ramps up towards the end of the year, usually around Thanksgiving, and it stays busy through the beginning of the year, and then it starts to taper off. And I have literally just been balls to the wall busy. So I was filming videos a little bit ahead of time because obviously I knew that this was going to happen. But those of you that make videos, you know that not only making the video takes time, but really editing the video, uploading it, doing thumbnails, those things are really time consuming. And I just didn't have the time. Luckily, things have kind of slowed down a little bit. So I have full intentions of starting to make videos again, at least a couple a week. It really just depends on how much time that I can put forth with it. Now, with that said, I have been giving very serious consideration to upping my eBay game. And by that, I mean decreasing the amount of work that I do for my non-eBay business and proportionately increasing the amount of eBay work that I do. So my non-eBay business consists of recurring commercial accounts and some residential accounts. And what I'm considering doing is keeping those commercial accounts and those recurring residential accounts, still taking on new business, but pulling all of my advertising. Everything from my Google business listing to my website, a couple other places like Yelp and a few other places that I advertise. And that would free up a good amount of time for me because I do have those standing accounts and customers that use me repeatedly, but probably 90% of the business that I get are new accounts. But the new accounts, I may service them one time, or it could be multiple times, but that's over the course usually of at a minimum months, sometimes years. So I would still accept new clients that were referrals, but I'm not going out and actively advertising for new business. And it would probably decrease my workload that I'm currently doing by about 85%, but it would still provide a safety net of income that I'm having come in. And I also have a couple other side hustles that I do that bring in some income too. So me just throwing some numbers together, I think I would be fine. The only thing for me is being self-employed since 2012 with really just one primary source of income prior to eBay, I've become really a bit of a tightwad. And like if you see my videos, you know I'm busting at the seams with inventory, and I didn't want to commit again to a mini storage, even though it would probably be way advantageous for me to do that. I just hate spending the $250 a month that it's going to cost me to rent it. And a lot of that comes from the fact that I don't get a paycheck ever. There's not a paycheck waiting for me every week or every other week. Every penny that I make, I have to earn. So that's caused me to be very, very conservative in the spending that I do. Fortunately, I don't have a ton of debt. My truck's almost paid off. My house or mobile home is paid off. So I really just have the normal bills, plus things like health insurance and putting up money for retirement, because that's another thing. When you're self-employed, you've got to stow some money away for retirement, or you're going to be really hurting whenever that time comes. But all this has caused me to really be a saver. So keeping a portion of my non-eBay business going, plus my side hustles, gives me that base income coming in. Plus eBay has been doing pretty good. And combined with that, I think I would be okay while I grow the eBay business. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think that I am with the way things have been going lately. And the good thing is, if eBay just became a colossal failure, I can always put my advertising back in place, and probably after just a few months, I would be back close to where I am now. So I don't really see a big downside to trying this out. And while I have not 100% committed to it yet, I'm about that close. The only thing that may impact is the fact that I really need a bigger place to live. And I think I spoke before that well, about 2.5 years ago, before I got divorced, we were on the verge of buying a house, and it was a nice big 4-bedroom house with a garage and nice size shed in the back. But of course that fell through. But if I could have something with that much room, plus have a storage, either a shed or a building, I would really like to have a metal building to operate my eBay out of. That would really be perfect. And that is my long-term goal. Now, if I decide to go mostly full-time with eBay, I don't know how that would impact me being able to buy a house potentially. I'm not going to do anything for a couple years anyway. I really am waiting for interest rates to go down. I'm not buying one at the interest rates they have now. Even though I could buy it and refinance, I would just as soon wait and just move things into a mini storage at some point, which was my kind of medium-term goal anyway. So with all that said, yeah, that's where I've been, and I'm making some tough decisions right now on the future of eBay. And I got to tell you, the whole external promoted listing things, that's not really that reassuring. Because when I looked at, and I know I often say that I don't look at my numbers very much, and I don't, but when I do look at them and I see the amount of money that is costing me to have things listed on eBay, if I got to pay even more, you know, that's kind of discouraging. So I don't know how that whole thing's going to work out. But with that said, let's pull some orders. I'll show you what's sold, and then we will look at how much money I made last year. In F12, I sold two packs of these car maintenance logs. So I need to pull 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, and then another one. Yeah, 4. And these sold for $31.92 with free shipping. In the H6 bin, I sold a 2-way radio microphone. And this sold for $17.56 plus shipping. In H8, I sold some Force Factor muscle recovery sleep aid, and I've got some stuff stacked on this bin, so I'm going to try to get this out of here without making a complete mess. Well, I guess that was a success. Only one thing fell down. And this sold for $5.56 plus shipping. And the final item is on one of these haul shelves, and it is a vintage Tupperware season and serve meat marinade container, and this sold for $7.16 plus shipping. Okay, so here are the 4 orders that are going out today. Not much at all. Let me get these packed up and I'll see what my total is. Okay, I've got my 4 orders packed up, and total sales were $62.20. I did have free shipping on the books, so you know, another $5 off of that. So roughly about 57, 58 bucks. I guess I need to figure out a better way to do like the screen grab, because I really don't know how to do that on the PC. And I just have the GoPro pointed at the screen here. But this is going to be the gross and net sales, obviously, from last year. It's not going to be the final number, you know, obviously after deductions and cost of goods and everything. But just to give you an idea of being part-time and how much that I made. So you can see that the total sales were $29,824.53, which were up 288% versus the prior time period. So I'm definitely making some progress on eBay. And taxes, I don't think that's really relevant to my sales, but selling costs, $11,592.89. And I was figuring it could be around $12,000. So that gave me a total net sales of $16,557.62, which does not include cost of goods, packing materials, etc. And as you know, I buy most of my stuff super cheap, so it does help tremendously to keep my cost of goods down. Packing supplies, I use a lot of recycled boxes, but you know, you have to have tape. I have to have bubble mailers. I have to have poly mailers. I buy a few boxes. I don't buy very many, but I do buy a few. I do buy some packing material like rolls of craft paper, some cellophane bags, and bubble wrap. But as an overall, my shipping supply cost isn't extremely high. And of course, like I said, my cost of goods is fairly low. But I think, what if I can increase this to, let's say I can increase my sales 100%, which if I put forth the time and effort to do that, and I can bring that 29,000, which is just short of 30, to double and make 60,000. Well, and then if I can double my net sales, I'm looking at 32,000 minus cost of goods and minus packing materials and things like that, which I think is pretty respectable. It's certainly not where I want to be, and even that wouldn't replace my current main non-eBay source of income, but it would be making some progress. And you can see the selling cost at $11,592 is 38.9% of my total sales. And those of you who have done eBay for a while, let me know as a percentage what your selling costs are. Because at almost 39%, it seems a little high, but I could be wrong. So I don't really have a benchmark to compare that to. And you could also see that I sold 1,381 items this year. I had a ASP of 2160, which that's actually kind of surprising. I figured it was lower because I sell a lot of $10 and $15 items, and it is down 9% over last year's time period. But I did want to give you an idea of what someone who's very part-time with eBay can make per year in gross sales and net sales. I've been trying to do a reasonable amount of listing per day, and most days I can at least get some items listed, but I've also had a little extra time to work and get my eBay room a little bit more cleaned up and a little more organized. Now, from looking over here above my shoulder, you might say I didn't do much, and I really didn't fool with that area too much. But over time, you know, every time I come in here, let's say I leave one thing out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna pick it up next time. And if I keep doing that over time, there's a lot of stuff out of place, messed up, and I really only come in my eBay room to pull orders that are in here and pack orders. One thing that could be considered good and probably bad at the same time is I picked up a lot of stuff that I've just kind of sat here and there, which is inventory that I need to list. So that just adds even more things to my death pile. But if I can get them listed, that'll be profit that I make. One thing that I did focus on was my shelf with the boxes. And it's over here, and I had priority mail boxes all over the place, and you can see up at the top I have a lot of little boxes that I get from one of my accounts. So I needed to get all that straight because it had become a mess. And even these poly mailers, they look messy. They're really kind of organized, but they look kind of messy, I know. But I did need to get all that straightened up, and I was able to. So the GoPro sometimes gives me fits. I actually bought the GoPro last year with the intention of starting to do videos last year. I just never got to it. So when I originally started making videos this year, the GoPro was still brand new in the package. I'd never opened it. I started using my cell phone just because it was easier. But the audio on my cell phone is not very good. So I finally broke out the GoPro and started using it. And you may have noticed in some of my videos, when I show the items that are ready to be shipped, I may have items there that you didn't see me pull. But there's two things I found about using this GoPro. One is that occasionally it will stop recording for absolutely no reason. It's not like the battery's dead. It's not like the memory card was full. Nothing. It just stops recording. And it wasn't even times when I recorded for exceptionally long periods, like where there was a time limit or something. I would just look and it wouldn't be recording anymore. So that would be footage that I lost. But the other thing that I found is, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think, let's say the battery dies while I'm filming. Well, if I take that battery out and put in a new one, and if you've used the GoPro, you know how that it assigns a series of letters and numbers to that clip. But I think if you take a battery out and put a new one in right away, the second clip that you make, it'll have the same last digits, but instead of the first digit being a 1, it'll change to a 2. So when I was downloading that footage on my computer to edit it, I saw that, well, originally I didn't see it, but now I see that it looks like it puts that footage not right next to the old one, because all the stuff that starts with a 1 is in one area, and all the clips that start with a 2 are in another area. So it was giving me fits whenever I would go to edit the footage, and I know that I filmed something and I simply couldn't find it. Well, I think I have that figured out. I was editing some footage of an estate sale, or several estate sales I'd went to, and when I was editing it, the battery died. So I put in a new battery and I finished making that little clip. Well, when I went to edit it, I'm like, I don't know where the footage is, because you could see where I was showing some of the stuff, and you could see the other stuff on the side that I never showed. Well, I actually filmed that stuff, but at that time I didn't realize the way the GoPro saved that footage. So anyway, I think I've got that taken care of, and now at least everything will be, it will have more continuity than what it had before, except for when the GoPro just dies for absolutely no reason. I went to some estate sale Sunday, and here are some of the items I picked up. First, there was this Touche game, and I did try to comp this. I really didn't see too much. I think there was one that had sold for like maybe $24, but since there weren't that many comps, I went ahead and just picked it up. It was $5, and it was 50% off on Sunday, and I did look at it, and all the pieces are here. So this might be okay. I don't really know. I'm going to have to do a little more research on it, but if there was only one that had sold for $24, I don't think there were any other listed. I could be wrong, but I think I can maybe get $20 to $25 for this, but at $250, that was a pretty good buy, I think. I also found this blank VHS, and I don't know, I think it was $1. I got these cassette tapes, which were all marked $2 a piece, and so I only paid $1. I usually pick these up just to sell in lots. So what I have, 3, 6, 8 of these. And I also picked up this little Polaroid TV. Now, I'm not going to pull the back off, but there is some corrosion in the back. I think it can be cleaned off. But I didn't buy the little TV for resale. I bought it because I have several DVD, VCRs sitting around here that I have not tested because I don't really have a good place to test them. And this one has all the inputs on the back, so I thought this one would be good for really just testing purposes. And it was $25, so I ended up paying $12.50 for it. So I think that'll come in handy for testing those things. And I've been kind of hesitant about buying too many VCRs, even when I come across ones that are a pretty good deal, but just because I hate testing them. It's kind of a pain in the butt, and it just takes time out from doing things like listing. So that should work out pretty good for that. And really, that's all I found at the estate sales this weekend.